Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special edition of the Don Mafia Report. Each and every single year, we stare at a computer screen for well over 5+ hours, trying to unpack and piece together where the league is going to go on this NFL trade deadline. A couple of trades have already happened last night and early this morning, and I am going to do my best of being able to make sure that you are updated immediately once a trade goes through. As you're coming in, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up sign. It is the easiest way to show love over here on the channel. If you are new here, I ask for you to subscribe to the channel. I put out NFL and Buffalo Bills content each and every single day. We're trying to grow a wonderful live chat community over here this year. So go on ahead, guys, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and more importantly, roll call in the chat. Let me know where you are tuning in from, what fan base you are currently representing, and what corner of the globe are you tapping in from this morning. Do not be shy. Let me know where you're tuning in from, folks, and let's get down to business. Obviously, I need to give a giant shout out to our good friends over on Sleeper. Folks, Sleeper is the #1 player prop platform on the market today. Parlay City. And the best thing is that they are, giving you a free $20 just from signing up, guys. Link is in description. Say, for example, you want to get in on the action over on Sleeper. I highly encourage that you do so. Let's go ahead and get into some of the trades that have already happened so far. The first one this morning, Logan Wilson has been traded to the Dallas Cowboys. Traded a 7th-round pick to the Bengals in order to make that happen. Now, Logan Wilson was benched or seemingly benched on the Cincinnati Bengals earlier this season, has not seen a lot of playing time. He was the leading tackler for Cincinnati last year and the year before. And I got to tell you, I feel bad for Logan because he is quite legitimately going from the worst defense in the AFC, and he has been traded to the worst defense in the NFC. So not a lot has changed. I'm not going to lie to you. For some odd reason, I think that the Dallas Cowboys are not done. I think a Logan Wilson move is a bit more of a run defense solution opposed to what their real problem truly is. Hopefully, maybe they can end up finessing a way to bring an edge rusher into town. It's hard for me to imagine that Cincinnati would send 2 defensive players over to Dallas. And obviously, I'm thinking of the world of Trey Hendrickson, perhaps, but that is now very unlikely because you would assume that both of those names would be announced at the same time. But an edge rusher makes a lot of sense. With Trayvon Diggs' injury, perhaps a cornerback could be of interest to the Dallas Cowboys. They could go the trade route, but then again, Asante Samuel Jr. was just cleared after having spinal fusion surgery this offseason. So is Jerry Jones done? I don't know, but that is the most recent trade that we have had put into place this morning so far. And let's go on ahead and see what we have. Guys, do not be shy. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know. We have Scotty is saying Brian Thomas Jr. fingers crossed. I got to tell you what, man. If, for example, Travis Hunter was not added to the injured reserve, I would buy into the fact that Jacksonville was legitimately shopping Brian Thomas Jr. around. I'm not saying it's completely out of the picture, but I think that it has become less likely based off of recent news coming out of Duval. But time will tell. Is Brian Thomas Jr., is there any weight to these claims? We will see. We have 585 tapping in on the building. Lackawanna, New York, prayers. And to get Brian Thomas Jr., Olave, and or Waddle. Go Bills from Holland, Michigan. What's going on, Vince? Hope all is well. Tampa, Florida, Fairfield, Maine is in the building. Iowa is in the building. Any hot reports right now, Mikey? Not as of yet, outside of your typical rumors. The only thing that has moved this morning, of course, is indeed a trade for the Dallas Cowboys sending Logan Wilson for a 7th-round pick via Cincinnati. On the route in Hamburg, New York, hoping for Waddle. Wouldn't that be ideal? Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, let's go Buffalo. Chattanooga is in the building. I don't know what the Bengals are doing. Well, I will tell you what, it's pretty clear in my eyes that Cincinnati has all but accepted the inevitable, that it's not looking too good for their playoff hopes. What they need to do is add as many draft capital pieces as humanly possible and move on, if you were to ask me. Bengals doing Bengals things. It never gets old. Linda, what is going on? Greer, South Carolina is in the building. Tampa, Washington, D.C., Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Bill Belichick country. Look at that. A.J. Brown odds. Jake, YouTube. Man, I got to tell you, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Do I think that the Philadelphia Eagles would be fine without A.J. Brown? Absolutely. I think that their offense would not skip a beat, especially with how many investments they have made on their defense for the past couple of weeks. Not only did they trade for Jalen Phillips last evening or yesterday, but they brought in Michael Carter, who at one time was a very respected slot corner in the NFL. That allows you to move Cooper DeJean out to the outside. So Philadelphia has been investing heavily within their defense. I don't know, man. Is A.J. Brown on the block? It would only cost the team about $500,000 based off of his cap hit in 2025. So what kind of deal will Howie Roseman be presented? Wilson, North Carolina, watching you from school. Go Bills, big baller bean. Go get Olave and or Waddle. I love it. New Jersey is in the building. The Bahamas, Kentucky, Singapore is checking in. Man, we got South Glen Falls, New York, Lackawanna, New York, all over the place. Man, I love to see it, man. People are pouring in already, and I cannot be thankful enough that you guys have decided to spend a little bit of time with me this afternoon. I do want to remind everybody, okay, in exactly an hour and 50 minutes, okay, at 11 a.m. EST, I am going to be live on Bleacher Report with myself, TD Finstock, Richie, and Colby from Patriots Global doing a stream exactly like this. I have pinned that stream at the top of this live chat. So make sure that you like that video, right? You save it for watch later and go directly over to that stream once we are done here for some further commentary. We have a great show lined up. We are going to be on for about 2 hours breaking down and unpacking everything that happens during the trade deadline. So expect to be with me for a while on this channel and then afterwards directly over on Bleacher Report. It's going to be an exciting time, man. An exciting time. We have Trendy Astro has come in. Hey, Dan, this is our year. We need to give up whatever for a wide receiver and another defensive lineman. Enough is enough. Go all in now. Go Bills. Well, I will tell you what. Does Brandon Beane have enough to bring in 2 impact players on both of those position groups? It's pretty clear that a wide receiver 1 would be ideal. I would love Chris Olave. I would love Waddle, and that's only if Miami would be willing to trade with a divisional rival. I have seen crazier things happen in the league. And then a defensive lineman. Is this a Calais Campbell type move? Is this a reunion with Harrison Phillips? I would, quite frankly, love that. He is one of the best run defenders in the NFL, or at least he was while he was with Minnesota. He could potentially be a guy for this team. Right now, Buffalo has about $3.4 million to spend. My buddy Kevin, who is a co-host of mine on the Bills Roundtable, he theorizes that restructuring Taron Johnson may have not had to do with creating additional trade capital, but more so to move some money around since Michael Hoyt is still owed his money. So rather than him getting paid his salary, right, once on the injured reserve, that money becomes due. So perhaps that was a move to pay for Michael Hoyt, perhaps. Regardless, prior to this, the Buffalo Bills had $1.7 million, and based off of some of the targets that Buffalo has been looking for, we can afford to still bring in 2 players with that initial amount. There are really only a couple of guys out there that have been thrown around for the Buffalo Bills as potential targets that we couldn't afford presently. As far as Budda Baker, he would be one of the more expensive options. I believe his cap hit for the remainder of this year would be $10 million. That is outside of Buffalo's price range. So if a Budda Baker were to come in, and to be honest with you, I am so pleased with the production of Cole Bishop and Jordan Poyer throughout the past 2 games. I'm not even suggesting that we should go after a safety. But if this front office still believes that there is a need, we would need Arizona to eat the majority of his cap hit in 2025 in order to move that. Now, teams will do that, but you have to give them a better draft pick. So say that on paper, Budda Baker is worth a 3rd-round pick. And this is just hypothetically. I'm just giving it to you as an example. If they wanted a 2nd-round pick, they would need to eat some additional cap and limit the cap implications on the buying team. That is how these teams are able to finesse convincing these selling teams to eat a bit more of the overall cap. Same thing with Jacoby Myers. He would be a $5 million cap hit. So that is technically outside of the Buffalo Bills price range as well. We would need Las Vegas to eat a lot of that remaining salary in order to get it done. Kino is coming in the building. He's saying, how many open roster spots do we have? As of right now, since Michael Hoyt was added to the IR, 1. So we have 1 roster spot. But that does not mean, okay, that does not mean that we will not be able to let somebody go. Or perhaps if the Buffalo Bills do make a trade, we ultimately end up sending somebody that is currently on this roster over for trade compensation. So in an ideal world, if we get Chris Olave, perhaps Buffalo sends over Curtis Samuel, or perhaps Buffalo sends over Keon Coleman, who has been a name that has been circulating around as a possibility. I don't know. With Keon Coleman's agents like dropping these some of these cryptic tweets all over the internet. Perhaps he's already gotten some news that Buffalo is shopping him around. I do not know. Fort Lauderdale is in the building. You are the GOAT, Dan. Fabian, I appreciate that. I would argue that you are the GOAT, my friend. Dietz Buffalo needs a wide receiver to open things up. The Commanders should be sellers now. They very well could be. After WGR Media from the wide receiver comments, Dietz Bean went after WGR again. Yeah, I saw that a bit earlier. What's up, Dan? Bakersfield, California, here in the building. Kelvin Benjamin, Ian. Oh man, we went a reunion with Kelvin Benjamin, huh? A Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end, as quoted by Booger McFarland a long time ago. Man, that is an interesting thing. Federal student aid, your secure code. Wow, look at that. My friend has been hacked. I think they'll be sending out another player if they make a trade today. It just depends on when it is. Jonas Burris is coming in with a question. And guys, as you're coming in, feel free, if you have a question for me, please label them appropriately. If you have a question, please label it with Q. If you have a statement, label it with S so I can easily decipher between internal conversations in the chat, but at the exact same time, questions. Question, would you roll the dice and go all in for Olave and Granderson move, or would you rather move for Campbell and a different wide receiver option? So I don't think that our only option is getting the 2 positions of need from the same seller. So I think that there is a world where Buffalo could make a move for Olave and then also perhaps bring in Harrison Phillips, who I think is the best fit for the Buffalo Bills based off of familiarity and based off of need. He is a tremendous run stopper. So that would be my guess, and that would be my hope, but we shall see. I'd rather see IDL and or linebacker or safety instead of a wide receiver personally. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, I will tell you what, when you look at the Buffalo Bills cap situation, us restructuring Taron Johnson, we arguably have enough for both. And surprisingly enough, the value of both players, we could afford 2 that are big names based off of how their contracts are structured already. For example, some of the big names that we're looking at, right? Like A.J. Brown, for example. I'm not saying that he's going to be brought into Buffalo, but I'm just trying to paint a picture. This year, he would only cost $600,000 against the cap. So that would be cheap. If Miami is dumb enough to send Waddle over to Buffalo, again, $600,000 against the cap this year. Same thing with Olave, very similar price point. Same thing with Calais Campbell, very similar price point. A lot of these guys, big contracts that they just signed, don't hit until 2027 because their team that signed them to this extension, very much so, they've already paid their signing bonus guarantees. And that's not Buffalo's responsibility. So we could very well get your defensive piece that you're looking for. You very well could get that wide receiver as well. And I have a gut feeling that Bean brings in two guys. I really do. I think that we end up bringing in somebody that can be a wide receiver for this team, and I think that we end up addressing the defense. If I would guess where Bean's head is at, he's losing sleep based off of some of the losses that we have had on the interior defensive line. Because I would probably credit, like when you really look at the grand scheme of things, I would credit the defensive line with that victory versus the Kansas City Chiefs last week. Seeing Michael Hoyt and Ed Oliver go down, I think that Brandon Bean is losing sleep over that, and I think that he wants to address it. And shout out to my boy Corey, by the way. Shout out Capriccio, Italian Ristorante. Buffalo gets a wide receiver, Dan. If so, who? Well, so I'll tell you what. I have a wish list, and my wish list begins with Chris Olave, followed by Jalen Waddle, although very unrealistic. Maybe Miami sends them this way. In a crazy world, if Minnesota would trade us Jordan Addison, I would love that as well. In my opinion, if I was Minnesota, I would trade Jordan Addison. Because why would you want to mimic the Cincinnati Bengals into potentially having two wide receivers account for well over 30 to 40% of your overall cap space? It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's not a model or a mold that I believe Kevin O'Connell would like to follow. That is me. Donovan Wilson, maybe junkyard dog, straight trash. Interesting. Would you rather have Olave or Waddle? Me personally, Waddle for his speed. I would not be upset with either of them. How much would Quentin Williams be, do you think, from the Jets, and would you go for it from Cheektowaga, New York? He would be out of our price range, from what I understand. One of my favorite things, feel free to get this, guys. It's the Spot Track NFL trade machine. I have been playing around with this a lot for the past couple of weeks, trying to piece together how much a player would cost the Buffalo Bills or any team this year. I'm not worried about 2026. I'm not worried about 2027 because the cap increases each and every single year. All I'm concerned about is how much would a player go against the cap this year. Now, if the Buffalo Bills, and guys, this is just speculation, and this is just me spitballing here of how much it would cost, but a Quinnen Williams, and this would be the case for whoever, a Quinnen Williams acquired cap in 2025 would be $8.4 million. The 2026 acquired cap would be $21.7 million. So a Quinnen Williams defensive tackle, if you were to ask me, probably out of our price range. Now, if you were to go into what would a divisional opponent trade a divisional rival, this Jets team would send us Harrison Phillips, no questions asked. Zero. They would not care about that. But trading a guy like Quinnen Williams to the Buffalo Bills, yeah. That's going to be a bit more difficult. That's going to be, all right, yeah, we want 2 first-round picks. Where Harrison Phillips is, we could probably get him for a 6th round. And to be completely honest with you, based off of what Logan Wilson went for, we could probably get Harrison Phillips with a 6th-round pick and nothing else. That's probably the more realistic move if we do plan on going with a divisional rival at the end of the day. Eddie Rock is coming in. I do not know if this is true, but I heard that Hoyt gave some of his money back to help with the cap. Don't believe that that is the case. I have not heard any official reports on this, and I don't think that he would do that. Why is Chris Olave on the top of your wish list? Because he is a true one for me. Number two, he's affordable. So he would cost about $500,000. He is a menace on the outside. He's a great route runner. He is fast. And he is a bona fide one. So when I hear players like Rashid Shaheed, that does not move the needle for me. Oh my God, Danny's fast, the 4.3 40. Guess what? So we have two guys on this roster that run a 4.3 already. And if that's the case, why has Joe Brady not implemented them into the game plan to improve downfield passing, right? So a speed guy, exclusively a speed guy for me, is not that important. Because Josh Allen, I love the guy, right? Like, he is the reigning MVP of this league. But Josh has never finished above ninth in the NFL in downfield passing success rate. His best year was in 2021, where he finished ninth. For the past 2 years, he's finished 25th and 23rd for passes 20 yards downfield. His deep ball has never been good outside of a couple of years. So I'm not particularly convinced and or excited about bringing in a Rashid Shaheed, who had an awful game 2 weeks ago, who's more of a gimmick guy. If like you're looking like, oh my God, it's speed, like we already have guys and that run a 4.3 40, right? Say that was what this offense wanted to do with Josh Allen, they would have put Elijah Moore and Curtis Samuel out on the outside way more often in order to achieve that. So what I need is a route runner, somebody that is a menace in the middle of the numbers, in between the numbers, that can create yards after the catch, and somebody that just has a more formidable route tree. So when it comes into Olave or Waddle, those two fit the mark for me. Waddle would be great because he gives you that speed that you want, but he's not a gimmick wide receiver. He's not just a fast wide receiver. He's a bona fide one. So that's what I'm looking for. I am not looking for a guy. I am looking for a dude, if that makes any sense. Speed wide receiver, interior game wrecker. We can afford anyone if they restructure Josh Allen. We can afford practically anybody on our list right now, if you were looking for in the short term. If we get a wide receiver, I just pray and hope Brady uses him in the right way, which is exactly why I'm not into the Rashid Shaheeds of the world. Like, why? Right? So are we going to have him as a jet sweep dude? Is he just going to randomly take some snaps away from Shakir outside of the slot? And plus, like, we need to also end up looking at how successful Josh Allen is with downfield passing. And he's quite literally never really been that guy. Let's see if there's anything else that has happened so far, folks. All we have seen was Logan Wilson over to the Dallas Cowboys, Jalen Phillips over to the Philadelphia Eagles as of last night. And the Baltimore Ravens ended up bringing in an edge rusher as well. Funny enough, they are buyers indeed. Chase or Higgins, I don't think either of them are on the block at all. Like, with both of them just ended up getting their contracts signed this offseason, I don't think Cincinnati is willing to walk away from that team. Especially because, say, for example, that Higgins were to be gone, right? Then I think that would probably entice Joe Burrow to no longer really have a lot of interest in staying in Cincinnati long-term and or retiring as a Bengal. That's kind of where I'm at. Imagine A.J. Brown. I mean, he would be affordable this year. Let's see if it goes down. Does the Logan Wilson trade indicate that the Bengals might be on a defensive fire sale? From what I understand, it sounds like a lot of players on the Bengals defense have requested a trade already. A couple of names that have been floating around on the Bengals defense, of course, Trey Hendrickson. You have Cam Taylor-Britt as well, one of their starting corners once upon a time. So, I mean, let's see. Like, why not? Like, make this defense even worse. To be fair, Gabe Davis dropped like 50% of the catchable deep balls he was thrown, and Josh Allen hasn't had a good deep pass option since Diggs left. So the last time Diggs was on this roster was in 2023, and Josh ultimately ended up having a 25th ranked success rate right within downfield passing. He's never been good downfield. He's never been good. So we can say, like, maybe it has to do with wide receivers dropping the football, but for the most part, he's not particularly so he's not your Russell Wilson, right? So he's not like a Russell Wilson who has that moon ball shot and that really takes that offense to the next level. He's never really been that kind of guy. So for me, I think that it would just be redundant at the end of the day. Guys, 352 of you are on YouTube right now. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up sign as you are coming in. Subscribe to the channel as well. All right, folks, we are trying to build our community. I am live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. EST. Typically, I had to go a bit live earlier due to these circumstances. Nate is coming in. Did we not have a good deep game against the Kansas City Chiefs? I swear I saw 2 tight ends and a wide receiver with deep receptions. We did. In fact, we did. It's outside of the numbers, which is the issue. With Josh Allen has always been deadly in the middle, in between the numbers. This year, it's almost exclusively tight ends and guys out of the slot. Like with Elijah Moore, for example, that deep pass was ran down the seam. Then, of course, you ended up having Dalton Kincaid leveraging zone coverage, finding holes in which that he can create space. It's outside of the numbers, which is the issue. That is the issue for this team as far as offense is concerned. The 93 format, I wasn't high on Jacoby before, but starting to lean his way. I want Olave, but bringing in Myers brings good football IQ. And if we keep Keon, could help him. I think Keon still has hope. So with Jacoby Myers, there are a couple of things you need to understand about him. Number one, he runs a 4.6 40. So number two, he has worse separation than Keon Coleman. So with Keon Coleman has 2.9 yards average separation, and Myers has 2.8. That's typically where he is any given season. He does have better hands. He's more of like your third down insurance policy. He's not your deep threat. He's way more effective in between the numbers than he is outside. So that's the type of wide receiver you're going to get. For me, with Jacoby Myers, that is adding yet again another wide receiver 2 to this roster. So would I be upset, say that he was brought into this organization? And so I wouldn't be pissed off and going on a temper tantrum online or anything along those lines, but it would be underwhelming, significantly underwhelming from my perspective. What are the Bills' number one option to trade for? I suppose it depends on who you ask. For me, in a dream world, I would love Chris Olave, and I would also love Harrison Phillips being added to this roster. Adrian Weeks is in the building. Hey, Dan, how about Dorian Williams, 42, filling the void for Hoyt? He generates pressure when asked. I mean, Thompson is playing good to cover his spot at 3 linebacker. So the thing with Dorian Williams is that he automatically would be an undersized defensive lineman. I don't believe he's ever played defensive lineman before. I will give him credit. Him spying Patrick Mahomes on the line of scrimmage was a large reason why we were able to hold Patrick Mahomes to, I think, 5 yards rushing last Sunday. So I think he ended up earning his keep. He's not very good in coverage, but he's really good at rushing the passer. Solid in that category. But yeah, dude, we will see. Can we afford Hendrickson, especially since the restructure? Well, I will tell you what, his contract was a massive in-season extension. He's a pending free agent this year. If you want to see if Buffalo can afford Trey Hendrickson, let's take a look. Let's say that we give him a 2nd-round pick, for example. Let's go ahead and get Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson would ultimately end up costing the Buffalo Bills $8 million if, for example, we wanted to make that move. So that is me. What would we do? We have Benedict Castro is coming in. What defensive linemen are on your radar? So I have 2 names that I think not only we could afford, but would also have a bit of interest for me here. Give me number 1, Calais Campbell. He's older, but he is still wildly effective. He's still like regularly in the top 10 for defensive tackle or defensive line sort of production. And then give me Harrison Phillips. A reunion with Harrison Phillips on the interior would be the most effective in my opinion. And that's what I'm hoping for. You mean that the Harrison Phillips that we drafted? Indeed. He would make a lot of sense for this organization. No way. Hold up, folks. Hold up, ladies and gentlemen. So I saw something in the chat. Want to double check it. That is fake news. So the Dallas Cowboys did ultimately end up getting Logan Wilson. They did not get Trey Hendrickson as of yet. Question, Dan, did you see the Bills are targeting Chris Olave, but the Saints said that they were retaining him? I do not buy that for a second. There is no reason that the New Orleans Saints are going to extend a wide receiver that has a decorated concussion history on a team where they have no idea who their starting quarterback is. This is a GM play for them to elevate the asking price for Chris Olave. They want to turn what would most certainly be a third-round pick into a second-round pick. I do not believe that Chris Olave is going to be a Saint by the end of the day. I'm not saying he's going to be on the Buffalo Bills, but I don't believe that Chris Olave will remain a New Orleans Saint. And even if he does, I do not think that he will be extended if he is forced to stay on that team during year one of their rebuild. Like when you see a brand new head coach come in, they have no commitment to any of the guys on the roster. So they did not draft them and they did not develop them. So I think a lot of players on the Saints are actually for sale. I would simply like a big enough move that will potentially make a difference at a said position and not washed up or has been a non-factor move. Malik Collins, defensive tackle. Tatsumi Amari is saying, hell no, Dan. Hell no to what? Asante Samuel to replace Trey and add depth till Strong gets back, and a wide receiver will be a Super Bowl caliber team. So Asante Samuel apparently has just been cleared by doctors after a spinal fusion surgery this offseason. So in my opinion, he's more of a starting caliber type DB. If Christian Benford continues to struggle, I think that there would be value in there. Let's see what team picks him up. Good morning, Dan. Go Bills. Any exciting news so far? What is your hot take for this trade deadline? Ooh, man, we're cooking today. So far, we have only seen Logan Wilson be sent over to the Dallas Cowboys, and that was announced about an hour ago. And then as far as my hot take for this trade deadline, ooh, man. So I think the Bills will ultimately end up getting a big name at defensive tackle and wide receiver. And so I think that Brandon Beane is on a heater. And so I think that he ultimately will making it happen. What about Max Crosby? I do not believe that Max Crosby will be moved. He is a piece to that Raiders team, and I don't think that things will change. Dan, this win against the Chiefs looked different. And do you think McDermott learned something from Philly's game plan from a Super Bowl? I don't remember us ever creating so much pressure against them. So I think that was the theme for this offseason, because all Brandon Beane did was invest in the defensive line. And finally, once all of the moving pieces finished up, we saw exactly where it was. We have any updates from the 49ers and also them trading Jennings as well. So you're thinking Juwan Jennings may be on the trade block. That is indeed interesting. So I think San Francisco is going to be in the market for bringing in some additional edge rushing help. I don't know who it might be, right? I have heard Jermaine Johnson from the New York Jets. In fact, one thing I will say for the Niners, look at a lot of the players on the New York Jets. I think Robert Saleh is wanting to bring in his guys because, like it or not, and you can laugh at the New York Jets for the past couple of years, but that defense was regularly top 5, and they had great pass rush schemes. And you've seen what San Francisco 49ers players that were formerly under Salah on the Jets have done so far this year. So I do think that they will be targeting some more defensive line help in order to attempt and mask the absence from Nick Bosa. But we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, folks, we are sitting here refreshing the screen as much as humanly possible. And the last big piece of news was the Dallas Cowboys finalizing a trade to acquire veteran linebacker Logan Wilson. That is the last thing we have heard thus far. Nervous about Strong return. The neck isn't looking well. Hopefully he can get back sometime in the future. From what I understand, Strong's career may be over based off of the sentiments that I have been hearing from the front office. Dan, what is the larger priority, a wide receiver number one or defensive line trade opportunity? Peter, so depending on who you ask, some people believe that it's defensive line. Some people believe that it is receiver. I am siding with wide receiver here because so when you look at our defensive line, we were top 3 in the NFL for pressure percentage all season long. And that was only with Ed Oliver playing about 2 games and Michael Hoyt playing about 2 games, where Michael Hoyt really only had quality production last week during his time when he was healthy against Kansas City. So this defensive line, as far as reinforcements, they should be coming back. So you have Daquan Jones. I'm hoping that he's good against Miami. And then after the Miami game, you have TJ Sanders, who should be coming off of the IR. So the Buffalo Bills D-line has been great, even without Ed Oliver and Michael Hoyt. I still believe that we go for both, but say that we had to have a priority and say that we could only make one move, probably going for wide receiver right over any sort of defensive move. But I do think that there is a world where we can bring in both. And so a Harrison Phillips and a Chris Olave would be a dream trade deadline day for me. Bradley Chubb is going to be a Cowboy, hopefully. Osmond Wadden is coming on in. Look, so as far as the Dallas Cowboys, that Logan Wilson move was a run defense type of move for Jerry Jones. I still think that they need to at least find some player that can get some sort of pressure off of the edge. It's not easy to replace the production you saw from Micah Parsons, but I do think a Bradley Chubb would make sense for this Dallas Cowboys team. Let's see if they get it done. Question, are there any potential trade targets you absolutely do not want Bean to go after? So I don't think Jacoby Myers makes a lot of sense. I suppose I wouldn't be pissed at it, but I would be significantly underwhelmed. I would not be happy with Rashid Shaheed, and so I feel like that it is redundant. I don't feel like that it moves the needle either. But for the most part, I am not all that picky, if you will. I am not all that picky at the end of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go on ahead and see if we have any updates. Let me see, man. We have heard nothing new. Guys, listen, just a rule. I am not allowing fake news in the chat. Mods, so I'm fine with a strike policy. I will give them one shot for some people moving in. But guys, fake news is not allowed in the chat. Please make sure that you double check your sources right before you announce anything. I have not seen anything thus far. We heard something about so the Devon Achane to the Minnesota Vikings. I have not seen that just yet. So far, it's only been the Logan Wilson news. Guys, 1,300 of you are in the building as we speak. 473 of you are watching. Guys, in exactly an hour and 20 minutes, I will be on Bleacher Report doing this exact same sort of stream on the Bleacher Report YouTube channel. I have linked that at the top of this live chat. It's myself, TD Finstock. It is myself, Colby, Richie. It's the entire AFC East Roundtable crew. So I really hope that all of you guys follow me over there once it is all said and done. They will have a crew once you first come in, but then at the top of the hour at 11 a.m., we will be there. I'm hoping that we could have each and every single one of you joining in and hanging out. Guys, you know what? Quite a few of you are in here, man. 489 of you are rocking with me right now. Do me a favor, roll call in the chat. Let me know where you are tuning in from and what team you are representing. Do not be shy. I am talking to the lurkers. What team are you representing? Because I can guarantee you we probably have a couple of new fan bases in here that are representing. Let me know, guys. 482 of you. I expect all 482 to let me know, man. Let's keep this conversational today. Where are you tuning in from? And do you think Indy will trade A.D. Mitchell? Perhaps. We will see. We will see. Kansas City, go Bills. We have a Chiefs fan in the building. What's going on, man? Hope all is well. Joe Alt will undergo ankle surgery. Terrible, terrible news here. Boston, Massachusetts. Miami Dolphins fan is in the building. Send Jalen Waddle our way, man. Meridian, Connecticut. England, go Bills. What's going on? It's Queasy. How you doing? Washington, D.C., and the New England Patriots. Habe Sound, Florida. Claremont, Florida. Bills, go Bills. Richmond, Virginia. The Tennessee Titans, my poor friend. The Tennessee Titans, man. Oh, man. Smiles only here, my friend. Patriots from Asheville, North Carolina. What is going on, my friend? I hope all is well. Fort Collins, Colorado, Ohio. Valacro, Florida. Tampa, go Bills. Bills Mafia, go Bills. Lurking in London, England. Hey, man, lurk away, my friend. I can appreciate that. We have Cheektowaga. We have Watsonville, Georgia. Pritchard, Alabama. Go Bills. Jim, what is going on? Olean, New York. Have a lot of this right here, man. Ontario, go Bills. I'm going to need to hear from some of the other fan bases. I've seen quite a few. So far, the Tennessee Titans. So far, a few more. Downey, California. Man, we have Germany is in the building. New York Giants, man. What's going on, dude? Hope all is well. Packer fan is in the building. I'm interested to see what the Green Bay Packers do at the trade deadline. Maybe a tight end with the loss of Kraft, which was devastating, by the way. We have this John from the beautiful Finger Lakes. A lot of Bills in here. A lot of Bills fans. Go Pack, go. Someone saying, I love to see that. Wyoming is in the building. Shout out to Stay Solid Khaled right here with a $5 donation. I appreciate that. Northwestern Kansas and Buffalo, baby. Also, when did y'all land that Bleacher Report deal? I must have been living under a rock. Well, first off, man, I appreciate that. So it is a one-off. So we were actually approached a couple of months ago where we were asked to be a part of a trade deadline episode. So it's going to be us four for about 2 hours. And it's been a blessing, folks. You know what? I can tell you, without you guys, I would not have opportunities like this. So this is a win for y'all as well, and I sincerely appreciate that. Let's go Buffalo from Miami. Eagles and Bills, Fort Riley, Kansas, Southern Tier. Go Bills. Billy, man, he's locking in from Southern Tier Brewing. Dude, I love to see that. In fact, we had an event at Southern Tier Brewing earlier this football season, which I absolutely love. We have future Chris Olave employer, Chops GFX. So here's the deal with me and the New England Patriots. For me, like, you guys adding a wide receiver would be wildly redundant, in my opinion. What New England needs to do is bring in a dynamic running back. Say that I was Vrabel. Say that I was the front office over in New England. My number one go-to would be going after the Achans of the world. I would be going after the Alvin Kamaras of the world, because you're getting to that point of the season where you desperately need to run the football and do it effectively. Because once that winter weather starts, and once you end up going against competition that has a top 5, top 10 secondary, you are not going to be able to be one-dimensional all throughout the season and hope that that works. For me, and so I look at the Patriots, and so you have Stephon Diggs, who has been great. You have Pop Douglas, who has been wonderful. Same thing with Kayshon Boutte. You did end up drafting somebody that's promising in a Kyle Williams as well. So with wide receiver, for me, would just be wildly redundant. Say that I'm the New England Patriots. I am either going after edge rusher to create additional pressure on opposing quarterbacks and or a running back. That is me. That is me. Let's see. Wesley Petit Ridley is off the table. The Jags have just confirmed it. Well, let's go ahead and check it out. Go ahead and see if there's been anything new. That has happened. All right. Nothing new on the trade deadline so far, relatively quiet. Let's see what else we got. Thank you, Go Bills. Hot take. Chiefs win their division and make the playoffs. I am a Bills fan, by the way. It's pretty crazy how that works. I would love a Chan/Brees trade. Everyone is saying we have Henderson, but Vrabes would kill it with a deep running back room, take all the pressure off of May. And one thing I can tell you, for some reason, like Vrabel hates Henderson. I have no idea why. He just does not like Henderson. Like, dude is not getting carries, man. Like, when he has an opportunity of being a feature back, like, dude is operating and utilizing a 7th-round pick instead to take carries away from him. It is the world's biggest mystery as into what Henderson did to Braves. I have no theories. Vikings from Mission, Texas, 84. What up, dude? Good morning. Knox to the pack. Bean likes to make moves with them. Dobbs is in his final year. John is coming in saying, I love the show. I love you, John. Thank you so much for the support. Why did he draft him? I don't know. I don't know, my friend. Maybe he was flirting with his daughter or something like that. I don't know. I have no idea. And I'm just kidding. Dad, how would you feel about getting Jeffrey Simmons? So would love a Jeffrey Simmons. I think that he's out of our price range as far as what we're able to afford at this point. But I mean, we will see. Why not A.J. Brown as a trade target? I would love A.J. Brown. He would only cost about $600,000 against the cap this year for any team that does target him. But will Philadelphia ship him? That is the question. Bills just signed Billy D. Williams as an every positional player. Well, let me tell you what, Billy D. Williams, look at them guns my boys got right there in the chat, dude. Holy hell. A new defensive tackle, a pass rushing defensive tackle in the building. I love it. Dan, and do you think we ship around? If so, who? So I think Buffalo will be sellers only if it is in conjunction with bringing in a new player. Like, for example, that Buffalo is somehow able to finesse a trade with New Orleans for Olave, then I think you're going to see Curtis Samuel and or Elijah Moore on the move. Some people are assuming it might be Keon Coleman. That would be the shot heard around the world. We will see. Waddle is a dream guy for me. He would be open up our offense and make it unstoppable and scare defensive coordinators to plan against that offense with James Cook, Allen, Waddle, and Shakir would be absolutely unstoppable. I love it. No bones about it. It's in the building. Did I hear we opened up a total of around $3 million in cap space? Sounds like something is brewing if that is true. Wouldn't that be ideal? This general manager needs to go all in. Treat this year like Super Bowl or bust. Get A.J. Brown or Waddle. I don't care if the price of a second round. And shout out to Carly for telling you people to smash that like button. That much I appreciate. No chance we get rid of Keon. Yeah, I also believe that is highly unlikely. Morning, Dan. What are your thoughts on Mazi Smith, defensive tackle? Go Bills. I would be open to it, right? So for me, I really think that we're okay at the defensive tackle position. So I am fine with a fringe player that would be a DT3 or a situational type defensive tackle. It's more so wide receiver for me that I want to see a big move. Keon is from New Orleans too. He is, but I don't think that plays much of a role if you were to ask me. Bean wouldn't have structured Taron if he wasn't trying to do something. So I was under the impression with that as well, but my buddy Kevin on the Bills Roundtable brought something up last night, which does make a lot of sense. When you have a player that goes on season-ending IR, they're still owed that money, and they must be paid. So that move for Taron Johnson very well could have been to pay Michael Hoyt, unfortunately. So I still think that Buffalo is going to make a move, but that $1.7 million we had before the Taron Johnson restructure is still enough for us to bring in two players. We'll see. We shall see. Bills have some money to spend. We can go out and get somebody for sure. Would you accept a 4th round pick for Calvin Ridley. We have our Titans fan in here. Calvin would be significantly underwhelming for me, but it's something I would not put past this Buffalo Bills team into bringing into fruition. Something is cooking, Dan. They restructured Taron Johnson to open up about $2 million in cap. Hey, Dan, I think you don't like Myers or Shaheed because of the teams they play for. I think you're not looking at what Josh would be able to do with them. So here's the deal. So I feel like that's a very similar energy to what we had about Curtis Samuel and Elijah Moore, right? That was the narrative around both of those players for a while. So we looked at Curtis Samuel and we were like, oh, look at what Joe Brady was able to do with him. He had his best season under Joe Brady. He wasn't utilized correctly. We said the exact same thing about Elijah Moore. We said, look at the quarterbacks that Elijah Moore had for the past couple of seasons. So it's not so much that I disagree with you, but perhaps I'm a bit scorned with that overall mentality. For me, I don't need a guy with wide receiver one upside. Myers and Shaheed are guys with wide receiver one upside. I need a wide receiver one. Somebody that can play on the perimeter and somebody that has proven that they can be a dude and not somebody that could be a guy. Man, I am on a roll right now. Wide receiver one upside is not for me. Brian Thomas Jr. is my dream, an unrealistic choice. Wanted him during the draft and was bummed out when we didn't trade up for him. So a BTJ would make sense for me because what he is good at is dominating outside of the numbers. He is afraid of contact. He is afraid to get hit. So I'm fine if he's not going to be a guy that can make plays for us in between the numbers, because that's virtually everybody else that we have on this roster. Like, we have Shakir, we have Dalton Kincaid, right? Like, we have Keon Coleman who can make plays in between the numbers. With Brian Thomas Jr., that's his bread and butter. Downfield, outside the numbers, especially when he's avoiding contact at all humanly possible. So that's why I like what Brian Thomas Jr. could bring to the table. I just think some teams need to get back into letting guys develop at their own pace and not give up too soon. Keon has made plays here and there, and I do see him getting better in areas. For sure, you do make a good point. Draft pick is in the building. Josh, best season with the deep ball was 2021. He had Diggs and Brown. Need that combo. It was his best season, indeed. 625 watching on YouTube and less than 180 likes. Get it together, people. It's just a click of the button. Jonas, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, guys. Hit that thumbs up sign. 625 of you were in here. There must be 625 like buttons hit. Let's go ahead and propel this out to the YouTube algorithm because we are sitting here and locking it in. All right, folks, we have a rumor floating around right now, okay? And this is from Ricky Scoops. I am not sure if you are familiar with him, but this is where we're at. Sounds like the Dolphins will be moving Bradley Chubb today, and the Cowboys and 49ers are the most likely destinations. Both teams have also reached out to the Bengals about Trey Hendrickson. Have something big from Ricky. And folks, you cannot take it away from Ricky Scoops. This guy has hit several home runs before. So this is actually an anonymous source that has receipts of being somewhat reliable. So that's a rumor to be paying attention to, folks. Bradley Chubb very well could be on the move. In fact, I'm kind of curious to go on ahead and check out Ricky Scoops and see if anything else has been floating around the rumor mill. The Cowboys have an offer to the Dolphins for Minkah Fitzpatrick, but that would be the Cowboys' backup plan if they can't land a pass rusher. Sounds like Jerry Jones is moving right now, folks. Do we have any Cowboys fans in the chat? Because it sounds like Jerry is spinning right now. He is attempting reeling around. Let's see what we got. It sounds like the Colts are calling teams and trying to land a cornerback before today's 4 p.m. deadline, which makes all the sense in the world, especially with the surprise retirement of Xavier Howard just earlier this season. I don't think that's much of a surprise. Who would be the corner that they go with? They could go with a trade, and or they could bring in a free agent like Asante Samuel Jr. or perhaps they end up bringing in a close reunion with some other former cornerback. Who knows? Who knows? Is Simmons an option from Tennessee? I think he would be outside of the Buffalo Bills price range. That much I can tell you. And do you think we trade Curtis Samuel? If we can find a team to buy, I think that we can make it happen. Dan, in the offseason, do you think we pick up the other Bosa brothers so we could have the 3 Bosa brothers? So with Joey Bosa is only on a 1-year deal. And I think Joey Bosa is going to be that exclusively. It's just a 1-year rental. And so far, I mean, he's been earning his keep. That much I can tell you. That much I can tell you. Hello, Dan. Big fan of the channel. Well, first off, Alice, I appreciate that. I heard the Lions are rumored to trade for Trey Hendrickson. Have you heard anything about that? So I have heard that there's 2 teams in the running for Trey Hendrickson, or that have shown interest. And those teams thus far have been the 49ers and the Cowboys. So the Cowboys have called the Cincinnati Bengals on Trey Hendrickson. Those are the only 2 teams that I have heard that have made a call. But again, right? Some front offices have very tight leaks, run a tight ship, and rumors don't particularly flow out of those organizations as easy as others. So who knows? Who knows? With this rumor right here from Ricky Scoops, it sounds like the Cowboys and the Niners have both called on the Dolphins' Bradley Chubb, and they have also kicked rocks on Trey Hendrickson. I'm not even sure if that's the appropriate analogy. In fact, I'm pretty sure kick rocks is something that the kids say in a negative sense, but here we are. DF forever. Dan, how about a better version of Poyer? With what we have at cornerback, we would be deadly. So I like what Poyer's been bringing to the table so far, right? Say that we had a lot more money, for sure. But like what I think is the number one reason is a wide receiver. That for me is what we need. Because look, so I know that Buffalo, and so I know that fans are happy with how the passing attack looked last week against the Kansas City Chiefs. But you have to remember why we were able to succeed so much was when it came into ways to take advantage of Kansas City secondary, their biggest weaknesses were in between the numbers. They had Connor, who was getting picked on early and often from Josh Allen, and same thing with Nick Bolton in coverage. So when you ultimately end up having teams that have great coverage schemes in between the numbers, that's when I think Buffalo is going to have a harder time being able to pick on the outside. So wide receiver for me is the number one utmost priority. Number 2, I'd probably go defensive tackle, right? I would love a Harrison Phillips. Right now we have about $3 million to play with, and that restructure for Taron Johnson is arguably more so that we can create money and pay Michael Hoyt since he is injured now. But I'm good on safety, man. I really, really am, especially with how good Cole Bishop has been playing, and Jordan Hancock has been playing very well too. But we'll see. We will see. Saints wide receiver Rashid Shaheed had the fastest touchdown for the 2025 NFL season. Shaheed reached 21.72 miles per hour on an 87-yard touchdown reception. For sure. For me, though, so he's just a fringe wide receiver 2 and 3 for me. I want a established wide receiver number 1, not a guy with wide receiver 1 upside. The fact that the Cowboys are second in their division at 3-5 is wild. I know. It's really looking like that only one team in the NFC East is going to be making the playoffs this year, which is insane, quite frankly. Guys, 556 of you in here. Hit that thumbs up sign. Let's go ahead and talk about this. To ask questions, use Q before it, guys. Make it so easy for Dan to find it. Yes, thank you, Dwayne and DF, and a special shout out to all of my mods in here. I appreciate that. Josh needs a little bit of help, particularly what I want. So I want somebody that is an option outside of the numbers. So with inside of the numbers, we're deadly in the pass attack, but outside, that has been a problem. Maybe Josh Palmer, like maybe he's the dude. I don't know. Like he barely got targets before he got hurt, and now he's hurt. But I would still like another option out on the outside. Waddle can be had, but don't think we give up a 1 to the Miami Dolphins, which is wild to me because like that 1 for the Buffalo Bills is not all that valuable. It's basically a second round pick, how you look at it. I will trade you Greg Rousseau and Curtis Samuel for Ben Crosby and Jacoby Myers. Max Crosby and Jacoby Myers for Greg Rousseau and Curtis Samuel. I don't think that Crosby is going to be on the market, but who knows? Who knows? Hello, Richie can't wait for the AFC Bleacher Report Roundtable. I cannot wait for the Bleacher Report Roundtable. Guys, I'm going to be live on Bleacher Report here in exactly an hour. All right. I have put the link at the top of the live chat, and I hope that all of you watching goes on over because at 11 a.m., we are going to be live and doing our thing. So I really hope that you guys can go on ahead and tap in with us and let the Roundtable crew know that you're there. Question, Dan, how about Calais Campbell? How much would he cost? I would be fine with Calais Campbell. As far as the trade machine, I'm going to go ahead and reset this real fast. I'm going to select new teams. What the Buffalo Bills and an Arizona Cardinals type trade would look like, how much it would cost. We will give them, I would say a 4th round pick. And then I'll find Calais Campbell over to the Buffalo Bills. Waiting on this to hit. See of what that acquired cap would look like. Let's see. Marvin Harrison. Calais Campbell. While that's loading, we will see. It looks like Spot Track is roughing it right now. Are there any news yet? It's 11 a.m. now. Wes. Oh, man. And so I'm pretty sure it's 10 a.m., to be honest with you. Hi, Dan. Kenneth, what up, man? Hope all is well. What's up with Kyler Murray? From what I understand, Gannon has said that when he's healthy, he's the starter. So I don't know how much we trust that, but we will see. Dolphins wouldn't trade their best wide receiver to an in-division, in my opinion. I've seen crazier things happen, but I tend to agree with you. Is this upcoming draft supposed to be good? So it depends on what position group you're looking for. It just all depends. All right, we have a Schefter tweet so far, folks. We have Bengals announced that they now have traded linebacker Logan Wilson to Dallas. That's just the official report. We saw that the Ravens last night, they did trade for Draymond Jones from the Tennessee Titans for a conditional 5th. Could the Cardinals trade Kyler Murray this offseason? Wow, a lot of things are cooking up right now, folks. What can you do? It is 8 a.m. in Arizona for me right now. It is 9 a.m. For me on the Panhandle in Florida, baby. So do you think Joe Brady declining or holding back or everything eats mentality is hurting them? No. So I think that what the Bills do well is run the football, pass in between the numbers, solid play action team, but we're missing a consistent piece out on the outside. I think that if Buffalo didn't make a move at all, I still think that we are, so the division champions. I still think that we're a solid team. I still think that we win several playoff games, but an outside guy, I think, opens up everything for me. What are your trade thoughts on Tony Pollard? On Pollard, man, would they get rid of Tony Pollard? So I think you're getting to a point right now where this team is on the verge of a complete and utter fire sale, especially with their recent firing of their head coach. So I think he could potentially be a sneaky move out. Good morning, Dan. Go Bills from New Jersey. Sammy F3X, what's going on with you, man? Question, can we get anything for Bernard? Dude looks lost since he changed his number. I don't think Bernard's going anywhere. How do you feel about a huge swing for Nico Collins? I don't see him going anywhere, right? So when it comes into potential trades, I always like looking at it objectively on being like, how close is this team from competing? What does their coaching staff look like? Like, what's the chemistry like with So their quarterback, like, okay. So for me, this is how I ultimately end up looking at players that are potentially on the trade block. Number one, so I look for a team that either has a first-year head coach and or a head coach that is on his way out next offseason. Like you see all these teams and you're questioning whether or not that the head coach is on the hot seat. So look for a head coach that is either in his first year or is on the hot seat. That's typically a good indicator. And then number two, also need to end up looking at where they are in their contract, right? Say that a player is toward the end of his contract and he's due for an extension down the road if he were to stay on that said team. Those are typically indicators for me that that guy is on the block. Now, crazy things have happened in the NFL in the past, but with Nico Collins is fresh off of a brand new contract extension, this team still has their head coach in place. I wouldn't say he's on the hot seat. That's me. That is me. Why you have AJ Brown on the thumbnail is going nowhere. It's called marketing. It's called marketing. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe AJ Brown does go somewhere. We'll see. We will see. Are there any good linebackers available? Milano seemed invisible for Kansas City, and health is an issue with him and others. I thought that. So Milano played very well, actually, surprisingly enough. So just not many splash plays. Dan, how long are you going to stay on live? Wes, I'm going to be live for another 20 minutes, and then I am going to start preparing for the Bleacher Report stream. If you guys want to lock in and follow me over to Bleacher Report, I will be live over there at 11 a.m. They have a crew on the stream as we speak, and then at 11 a.m., they kick them off and switch me over for TD, same thing all across the board. We shall see. Who the F is Logan Wilson? Cowboys are so dumb. I mean, Jerry, man, he's desperate. He is trying to add as much as he possibly can to the defense. Would you be utterly disappointed in Bean if he sits on his hands around 5 p.m. and can do this roster, win it all way? I'd probably be a little upset if he didn't do a thing. Say that he doesn't do a thing, I better hear through the rumor mill that he has at least made calls and tried to make something happen. I'm confident that he does. Offer for Waddle, let Brady go head coach. Let Brady go head coach and pick up McDaniel to coach offense. He's made Tua look like an MVP at times. Imagine with Josh. I think that might happen on Madden, maybe, but not in real life. But hey, listen, I love the energy. I already know that Bean is going to make us until 3:45 to make a trade. That's typically how it goes. And the Bleacher Report YouTube, yes, sir, it is going to be on the Bleacher Report YouTube. That link should be pinned on top of my chat already. It's going to be myself and TD Finns Talk. It's going to be Richie. It is going to be Colby from Patriots Global. It's going to be a good conversation, and I really hope. And chat, listen, I am curious again, who in here is representing a team other than the Buffalo Bills? Who is representing a team other than the Buffalo Bills right now? Let it be known in the chat, just out of curiosity, what opposing fan bases are joining us this morning. Do not be shy. I'm very curious to see, because I have something for you that I think you will enjoy. Dan, I know we're just watching for trades, but can we keep at secondary PFF grades for us? But can we look at secondary PFF grades? Yeah, sure. We can go ahead and pull those up real fast. PFF.com. Look at the secondary players. Who's going off? Who is going off? We have the Eagles are in the building. Chiefs Kingdom is in the building. The Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm a Steelers fan as well. Dolphins. Go Bills. We have the Saskatchewan Rough Riders are in the building. Here we go, Steelers. All right, guys, look. Why I suggested that is I would like to point you to the direction of the sports network that I own, that I am part owner of. It's called Roundtable Sports. What I do, folks, is we end up finding the top YouTubers for each and every single team in the NFL, and we pin them together for a weekly debate show. For example, we have the AFC East Roundtable, where it's myself, Richie, TD, and Colby. We yell at each other each and every single day about the AFC East. But guess what? It's not just the AFC East. We have each and every single division. For example, we just got an Eagles fan was in the chat. We have an NFC East roundtable where we ultimately end up having an Eagles YouTuber, a Commanders YouTuber, a Giants YouTuber that just go at each other's throats each and every single week on Wednesdays. I really would like you guys to go check it out because we have a great time over on the network. We have one for each and every single division. I saw a couple of Steelers fans in the building to begin with as well. We have our Steelers representative. We have our Bengals representative, Ravens representative. It is all a great damn time. And same thing with Tater Chip as well. Tater Chip, listen, man, I have the NFC North roundtable for you that I think you would certainly enjoy. It is one of our most popular shows so far. Let me see. In fact, I'm pretty sure you're probably familiar with who the Lions contributor is already because he's the number one Lions content creator out there. That's Dose of Dion 2.0. We have our Bears guy. We have our Vikings guy. It's great TV. All I say is go on ahead and check all that out over at Roundtable Sports and lock it in. Lock it in, baby. That's precisely what it is. Let's go on ahead and see if there's any more trades here. See if there's any more trades here. Go Bills, Bean. Get that wide receiver. Do you see us moving on from Milano or Bernard in 2026? If so, do you think we'll address linebacker and free agency or the draft? Linebacker is probably going to be big for me, right? Because Milano is going to be a free agent. I don't see us bringing him back. Todd has become a YouTube member. Todd, I appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you so much. All right, we have an update from Jordan Schultz here. We'll see if any deals get done, but the two teams I'm watching today for a potential holy crap trade are the Seahawks and the Denver Broncos. That is according to Jordan Schultz. What is going on with this trade deadline, man? Make it happen. Dan's got a guy for every one of you folks. Guys, look, folks, we have a guy everywhere on the Roundtable Sports Network. There is a show for you regardless of who your fan base is. Think Breece Hall will be on the move today. Yes, I do. I just don't know where. Like, my favorite landing spot is the Kansas City Chiefs. And so I think that makes the most sense for them. Like, bring in a truly dynamic, and so running back that has that threat. And so of being a weapon right in the pass game, and then maybe also a dude that could easily put like 1,000 on the ground for you. He is an absolute unit. Question, if Palmer wasn't injured, would we still be wanting to bring in a wide receiver? I don't know. That's tough. How about those 7-2 Patriots? Yeah, dude, listen, quality season so far. Please no Hall to the Chiefs or the Patriots. I don't think we have to worry about Hall being added right to the Pats. But the Chiefs, for me, is still pretty interesting. Hey, did you hear that the Miami Dolphins changed their name to Fish Dicks? Wow. Wow, dude. Brian is coming in. Hi from Boise. I'd rather not see Breece in Kansas City. I feel like a lot of us wouldn't do it. Speaking of the AFC East Roundtable, Dan, did you expect me to bring that much heat last night? No, I did not, Dwayne. No, I did not. Shout out to Dwayne. That's my guy. That's my guy. And thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. You are the man. Hey, Dan, Spring Hill, Florida here. What do you think Addison might be available? So I think it would make sense for Minnesota to, of course, move on from Jordan Addison. I don't know, though. That would be like a holy crap, like sort of trade. Only receiver I want is Brian Thomas Jr. Yes, we need a wide receiver when Palmer was on the field as well. And do you think our Bills will also look for defensive line help in the trade? I am looking at Harrison Phillips as a potential option. Waddle, the NFL is a right now league. Right now is what we need to plan for. I love it. Please don't give away draft picks again. Who was the crappy receiver from last year? That was Amari Cooper. He was certainly not crappy. He just ultimately ended up getting hurt. And I want to say that like we got him for like a third. And so I'm not concerned about a third round pick. Brees to the Chargers. I could see that too. Hey, Dan, what would Jerry Jeudy cost us? Go Bills. He would also be relatively affordable. Expectation, Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle. Reality, Rashid Shaheed, Gabe Davis elevated. Probably. Question, ideas on a Hoyt replacement. Also, any ideas on wide receiver? My biggest takeaway from the Chiefs game is Josh literally can't find a receiver that can get open. So he threw for 279 yards, and he was dominating in between the numbers, especially within the tight ends. As far as defensive tackle and Michael Hoyt, so with Michael Hoyt, definitely made our defensive line better. But Ed Oliver and Michael Hoyt have only played 2 games all season long, and this defensive line was top 3 in pressure percentage all season long. So I would like a defensive tackle, but like more so of the nature of Harrison Phillips would make sense for me. And so a Harrison Phillips would be like my best bet and super affordable. It just makes sense. As far as wide receiver, give me Chris Olave. If I am Buffalo, I am going all in. Hoyt showed you what the Bills team is capable of. Grab Hendrickson to fill the void. Whiskey's in the building. I love it. I think Waddle would fit our offense the best out of our options. What do you think? I do, but will Miami ship over their star wide receiver to a divisional rival? That is a question. They won't get a wide out, but let's get one more big defense player in the middle. Make the call, Bean, to that guy in that green uniform. Oh, damn. I love it. Justin, my guy. Bills cracked the top 4 in power rankings this week. Article drops tonight. Guys, go check out all the articles over at Roundtable Sports as well. I have been sitting here plugging our YouTube network for all of you that may be fans of different organizations. But our good friend Justin here is the lead blogger here. Look at all this, guys. Go to roundtablesports.net. Tap in because we have content each and every single day for everything that you could possibly be looking for. The Roundtable blog, man. Just go ahead and check it out. Shout out to Justin and for being a savant at NFL writing. You think Jair Alexander is washed? Yeah, he's not very good. Are we looking for a punter? So I wouldn't say that. Dan, should we get John Brown out of retirement? No, I don't think that he would be much of an impact anymore, to be honest with you. And the issue is Hoyt was more than a defensive lineman. He would stand up and rush and also drop to cover. Not much of a skill set like that available to trade for sure. He would definitely be difficult to replace. Good morning, Bills Mafia. 716 is in the chat. I love to see it. I don't think Bean is getting a wide receiver. I think he will. Another hot take. Bills win out, even beating the Eagles. I like that hot take here. Not sure if Tua is worth leftover Halloween candy. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. All right, folks. That's going to have to do it. So I need to prepare for the Bleacher Report stream. Again, I will be live on Bleacher Report at 11 a.m. EST. I have put the link at the top of the chat, so go on ahead, save that video, and so open up another tab, and at 11 a.m., please tap in. It's myself, it's TD Finstock, Richie, and Colby, where we are going to be breaking down everything that is happening during the NFL trade deadline. I appreciate you guys for tapping in with me this morning. Hit that thumbs up sign again. Subscribe if you are new, and we will see you on Bleacher Report here in about 40 minutes. See y'all soon. Peace.